A very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is the 9th March 2023, Thursday class. So we'll be sharing from this book, Straight from the Heart, Unique Dhamma Code by me. We are at Dhamma Code number 39. We have finished 35, 36, 37 and 38. So as usual, we will develop the silent mind, then maintain the faith, saddha, then virya, and we shall mindfully commence the Puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Panati Pata Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adina Dana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Kamesu Miccācara Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Musawada Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamadatana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, before we pay respect to Puja, we will make the offering at the altar. Do the Triple Jam. Sadhu, 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 Sadhu. Okay, let us now pay respect to Puja. Bedang Pujemi. Dhammang Pujemi. Sanghang Pujemi. Because we are going through the unique Dhamma code. These codes are very unique and very meaningful, very beautiful. So with all this understanding, it's very easy for you all to develop the awareness-based meditation. So as far as the instruction is concerned, I think it's very straightforward. Remember the four support, especially the first three. Yeah? Relax, maintain awareness, then stabilize the awareness. Then finally the last support is trust. Trust your nature to do the meditation. No more interference from the thought process. All these are major support to develop awareness. Because the first support, take for example, relax. Relax means not to think, not to arise anything, not to worry, not to have any anxiety. So relax means at ease. Relax completely, entire body and mind, so that your mind is free, your body is completely relaxed, at ease. So that ability to relax will allow your mind to settle down. That's why it can become composed, calm, peaceful, where there is nothing to create thinking, to create activity of mind. So relaxation is most important. Ability to relax denotes your ability to settle down your mind. So to relax body and mind initially may not be easy if you are not done it before and you don't know how to relax. The best way is like when you are very tired, you feel tired, you relax naturally, that you just want to rest. So you just like, so that relaxation to me is when you just want to let go of everything. Like you, the breath you from your mouth, you just let the air out. And you feel yourself relaxing. Or without verbalization, if you can relax, it's the best. You just feel yourself completely relaxed. Those who do yoga, they will know how to relax, especially the physical part. But the mental part, if you have Dhamma, you will also know how to relax, because you don't worry about anything, don't hold on to anything. The relaxation process is very easy, very simple. You just let things be. Whatever arises, let it arise. That is relaxation. Like you are dead. The best way is like you are dead. A dead man cannot stress, cannot do anything, cannot even think. Whatever stimulant that arises from the sixth sense door, just aware, finish. Aware, finish. Because you have a consciousness trapped inside, you have the sense basis. So upon contact of the consciousness with the sense basis, together with the respectively sense data, it will trigger off consciousness. So the arising is a very natural occurrence. So meditation is to be aware, to observe all this arising. When it arises, just let it be. Aware, finish, let it cease. If you do that, you will be able to progress much faster. So relaxation is number one. Then maintain awareness. Means whatever arises, let it arise. Then just aware. Finish. Aware. Finish. No need to know. Don't try to do anything. Just aware. Finish. Tactile contact also same. Aware. Finish. Thought arising also same. Aware. Finish. So the tactile can be in the form of like hot and cold, itchiness or whatever, or even tension, tightness or what. You just relax into it. Then if you are so used to concentration or the mind doing all the noting and all things, the energy will build up. So whatever energy that build up, you relax into it. Whatever mind state that arise, like tension, stress, or worry, anxiety, you just relax into it. When you can relax into it, you can let the mind settle down. So the 6R also do a similar movement, except the first R is relax. Then they recognize, the second R recognize that there is tension, there is tightness, there is stress within. So what they do is, they also have to relax into it. So when they relax into it, they will be able to like develop the easiness of mind and body. So that recognition is to recognize that there is something within your physical body and mind distracting you, and that distraction you need to relax into it. So all these are skillful means for you to develop the understanding. And after you relax, you maintain awareness. That one is very important. Then you have to be very patient. Initially, it takes a while for you to get it for new people. But the moment you get it, it becomes very easy. Then you can go into that state. This is the meditative state very fast. But the stabilizing of the awareness is more important. So after the second support, which is maintain awareness, you have to stabilize it. So keep on allowing the mind to settle down and maintain the awareness until the awareness becomes very stable, very clear, until finally no more thought, no more activity of mind, no more sankara movement. Everything will slow down until it's still. You can realize that state if you are patient enough. So it may take a while, different people, different. But after you experience it, then it will come to you more often, and you will find it more easy to do. Then if you have an object of meditation, you can also use the object of meditation like anapanasati or whatever to allow you to develop the mindfulness first. Then this mindfulness, as you develop, you stabilize it, is the same, but don't go too deep into it. You just maintain awareness until the object of meditation becomes very quiet, very still. And you can actually develop the more refined awareness. You only need to wait till mind enters sati. So the first three support can bring about the stability of mindfulness until mind enters sati. Now when mind enters sati, you become different. Everything you do, because that mind is in sati, there will be mindfulness all around. Every moment of seeing, hearing, smell, taste, tactile, or thought process is all in sati. So this training is very important. So the formal meditation is to stabilize the sati then allow that mind to enter sati, then use that trained mind to develop the daily mindfulness. When you come out of it, maintain awareness, whatever arises, aware. Like my teacher used to say, we choose aware all action, all movement in the present moment. You must do that until throughout the day, most of the time, or all the time, you are just aware, mindful, aware, mindful. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything. When that mindfulness stabilizes, you will know. The body and mind will know. Because suddenly you can see yourself in the state of awareness. The mind has entered sati, and everything you do is in sati is so different. Then you become different, sensitive. You can see a lot of things that you never see before, even your subtle mental intention, your reaction of mind, your stirring. All these things become clear to you. And you start to have the ability to observe without thought, the direct seeing, the silent mind observing, then experiencing what that silent mind is, what that true nature is, the awareness within. Then you will develop a lot of understanding. Then you can use it to develop the direct seeing, to insight into phenomena, to awaken, to contemplate, to reflect, to develop the understanding of who you are, what you are, and how you function as a human being. And you can also develop the understanding of how your mind operates. The Paticca Samuppada or the 12 link will become like very clear to you. Every link, every moment is like very clear to you. Avijja Paccaya Sankhara also very clear. Then Sankhara Paccaya Vijnana also very clear. And then Vijnana Paccaya Namarupa, the content of consciousness, the thought, they become very clear. And you need sense basis for it to arise. You will come to know. So dependent on the arising Namarupa, there must be sense basis for it to arise. And dependent on sense basis, there must be contact. And dependent on contact, there are the 7 universal. One of them is feeling. That's why the Paticca Samuppada, the link there, the number 6 one is feeling. Then dependent on feeling, it will condition craving. Then craving condition grasping. Grasping condition becoming. And becoming condition birth. Hence arise the whole mass of suffering. You will see them all. Then you will understand all this essential Dhamma, their movement, their activity, and how you function as a human being. How your mind actually develop the movement, how the mundane mind come about, how it arises, how it settle back to that true mind. And when you have stabilized your awareness nature, you will start to realize your true mind more and more, more and more. Then most of the time you are with your true mind, in pure awareness, hardly any thinking, any thought. So this will lead to transformation of mind. The mind that is always aware, most of the time aware, that is heedful living. Whereas the other one is the heedless living. The mind that thinks a lot, that mind that have a lot of sankhara activity, that keep on stirring, reacting, creating mental activity and movement, mental states. So all this you will develop clear understanding when you have mindfulness. That's why without mindfulness, you cannot understand meditation. You cannot develop all this understanding to comprehend the essential Dhamma as taught by the Buddha. Then the Four Noble Truths, Three Turning, and all the essential teaching that spin off from there, you will be able to understand them very clearly. And whatever you come across, when you reflect, you contemplate, the Dhamma will appear. Everything will become very clear to you. And this is what awareness-based meditation is all about. That's why it's very, very powerful. It's very amazing. And it can bring about transformation. Okay, you can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner mindfulness that you have developed for as long as you can. Okay, so now we turn to page 6 of the chanting book. We will do the invocation to the Devas. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddamang Munirajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhammasvanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhammasvanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhammasvanan Kalo Ayang Badanta. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Iti Beso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijacarana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarti Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanayiko Pajatang Veditabo Vinohiti Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Nyayapatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samicipatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Chatari Purisa Yogani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaneyo Anuttarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, you all can be seated. Then we shall continue from where we stop. We have finished unique Dhamma code 35, 36, 37, and 38. So now we will continue with Dhamma code 39. But before we go to 39, we just go back a bit, quickly refresh those who have not attended the class. The previous Thursday, we discussed unique Dhamma code 35, which is about our true nature. So this one is a very important understanding. This one is what Huineng's first hallmark is all about. To realize the state of no thought, wu nian. So to realize that, you must realize your awareness nature within. And this awareness nature is actually your true nature. People call it by different names. Some call it the essence of mind. Some call it the meditative mind, the silent mind, the tranquility and stillness of mind. It's actually just a nature within that is just aware, without word, without thought. That's why to approach this nature, you need to cease the thought. That, as I've explained, as a human being, since birth until now, we are so conditioned by the thinking process. Our mundane mind, sankhara activity, has been proliferating, arising and passing away like heedlessly, non-stop, until today. Before you learn how to meditate to develop the awareness within, most people are heedless, they think a lot. Thought activity like cannot end. So this nature need to be understood. That's why I went through it. Then I share with you all this unique code. All these unique code are various unique explanation of what that nature is. That's why under code 35, now I will read through quickly so that you can understand. Without thought, so the key word is without thought. There is only an awareness nature within. You have to realize this. You don't go and just believe what I say, then don't do. It will not benefit you. You have to realize this. You have to silence, relax, maintain awareness. Don't try to know, don't try to do until that silent awareness within arises. When the thought ceases, that awareness nature will arise. Investigate into it, then find out for yourself whether this is true or not. When you realize that, you have to stabilize it. Otherwise, it's just a moment, a glimpse. You may not understand much. That is actually your essence of mind, your true nature, which is not a being. Find out why I say not a being. Where it's not a permanent unchanging entity that can come out and live life. Cannot. It cannot come out to live life, and it is non-self, not you, not a permanent unchanging entity, hence anatta nature. Where that nature has got no thinking, no words, no concept, nothing. Where it's unconditioned, and there is no words or concept to describe things. So the awareness nature is just that nature that is aware, or the essence of mind. So the essence of mind is, in Mandarin they call it the wen xing, that nature, the essence, that is aware, finish. Then code 36, 37, 38 is just to enhance the understanding of what that true mind is, that true nature is. Code 36 says, without thought you are naturally aware. So this one is similar to 35 but approached slightly differently. to let you understand without thought you are naturally aware. So don't learn how to be aware, don't learn to be mindful, don't try to be mindful. But the trying activate the thought. So how can you be mindful when the thought is active? So just let things be, relax, maintain awareness, then the stillness or the silence, which is the awareness nature without thought, will arise. So this true mind will naturally surface. That awareness is complete stillness, total silence, and again is not a being, hence is not you. Then quote 37 explain it further, but from another approach. Without thought, you are with your true mind, means your silent mind, the meditative mind, not the thinking mind, with the awareness nature within. And that one is your meditative mind too. The silent within is your meditative mind. But that one is just an awareness nature that can insight into phenomena and awaken, that can observe and see things as they are without words, without concept, without the interference from the memory or the thought process. That's why I say, without thought, you are with your true mind, your silent mind or your meditative mind in total emptiness. Within that stillness, the emptiness, you can understand many things, you can awaken. Then quote 38. When you are just silent without thought again, the key word is without thought, the true nature can insight into phenomena to awaken to the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So this one is a further description of what it is capable of. You have done it, you have developed it, then you can understand what I say. Because this sharing comes from the silent mind. Okay, now we continue with code 39. Code 39, unique code 39. Your original state of mind without thought is your true nature. Because this is what is inherent in our nature. Our nature is already that stillness without thought, that tranquility, that complete awareness nature within. That is what our nature is. So before the mundane mind arises, before the stirring of the mind or the arising of the thinking or the thought process, that awareness nature is just aware, nothing else. In fact, it is the totality, the oneness nature. But the first thing that manifests from the oneness nature is, when you have a form and mind connected to it, is the realization of the first thing that come out, the awareness nature is just aware. That is the first thing that you can detect. But you have to go into the cessation of form and mind before you can realize the unconditioned or the state of enlightenment, which the Buddha called Nibbana. Nibbana, Paramang Sukhang, is the highest peace, because there is no concoction, no activity of mind. It's complete stillness. And even the pure awareness also ceases. That's why it's a cessation of form and mind, and that nature completely ceases within. Then that state which is transformed, when the mind realizes itself and ceases, then you will realize what the unconditioned is, that oneness nature, or what the Buddha called that Nibbanic experience. Or you go through the cessation of form and mind to realize Nibbana. And that is what enlightenment is all about. When you realize that if you are not supposed to die, means the aggregate the 5 area of form and mind, the life force, everything, they are still there, then you can come out of it. Then when the form and mind arise again, you will understand who are you, what are you, and how all this creation starts. How from that nature, that true mind, the silent mind, the awareness nature, the original state, the first thing to come back is the awareness nature, aware. Then from there, it starts to move and develop the separation of consciousness. Then it develop into that movement to animate the form and mind into a human being or a living being. The awareness nature that arises is actually pure consciousness. And when that one arises, the first thing it do is it will go to the brain there and activate the brain. Like a dynamo, it start the engine again. Then the brain activity start. Then there is another portion of consciousness that will actually pump the heart at the heart area. Then another one go down to the dantian, abdomen, that give you the earthly energy to move, to do the function of the physical human activity. That's why all this movement you will come to see is like creation happening. How you become what you are, how you arise from that original state of emptiness, stillness. That's why from the void everything arises, and to the void everything returns. So this original state of mind, which is the true nature, they call it the original state, 本来的面目, means before creation, before anything arises, it was already there. The eternal nature is already there. So we call it by various names. Some call it the source. From the source everything arises. Some call it the original nature. 本来的面目 means the original nature. Then some call it the oneness nature. From there, it arises. Then you can also give it the name, the unconditioned, Nibbana, or whatever. So this is what that Dhamma is, the unconditioned Dhamma is. And it's very difficult to use the thought process to develop the understanding, because you cannot understand what that thing is. Because that one is beyond thought, beyond mind, beyond description. You need to realize it. You need to go into that cessation, the Nibbanic cessation experience. Then come out of it. Then only you can understand what this. Even those who do the awareness-based meditation, when their awareness stabilizes, they still don't go into cessation yet. But the awareness nature, when they stay with it and stabilize it, is very different, very powerful. It can develop a lot of understanding and wisdom and all those things. But finally, they have to realize that cessation, to realize the enlightenment in the here and the now, so that they will know actually your true mind, your original state of mind, which is the awareness nature. It is eternally there. Without the mundane mind, that one surface. But living beings, because of delusion, they get themselves entangled through losing sight of what that true nature is, because they lost themselves through the creation of thinking, sankhara activity, thought activity. So they grasp on to the mundane mind, the thinking mind, thinking that this is what they are. Then they forgot that originally they are from within that nature that manifests all this. So this understanding can only be developed when you go through that transformation and cessation. If you don't go through the transformation and cessation, you can never understand all this. So Code 39 is very unique and very profound. So I read it now, hopefully you can understand it better. Your original nature or original state of mind without thought, that is your true nature. And that is also your meditative mind, or what we call the silent mind, in stillness, in tranquility, which is just aware, nothing else. Because it is just aware, that's why it's sensitive. It can be mindful, it can observe without thought. It can completely, within the silent, develop awareness. Then after that, you will be able to understand a lot more. Because without touching the awareness nature within, you cannot be in the state of wu nian, or no thought. And you cannot realize your true mind, your awareness nature within, your silent mind, your meditation. Technically, you cannot have the inner awareness to meditate, to develop wisdom and understanding. That's why sati is very important. Without sati, without mindfulness, you cannot realize the awareness nature within. You need sati to stabilize the awareness nature within, leading to heedfulness. That's why sati is most important. The whole teachings that the Buddha realized can be summarized into one word, sati. That makes the teaching different from the other teachings. In fact, most religions that teach meditation, they are within the field of thought. They use thought. They don't develop sati or mindfulness, leading to awareness within. And if you don't do that, you cannot realize the true wisdom. So, like I explained just now, the most important factor, mind state that you have to develop is sati, awareness. What is sati? The definition is very important. Sati is an awareness before the knowing. Awareness before the knowing, or what we call before the arising of the thought process, thinking. So I write down on the whiteboard. So sati, most of the time, the Theravada tradition, they define this as mindfulness. So this is also called mindfulness. But most of the time, they do not understand this word mindfulness. Like the English word, mindfulness. So when your mind in fullness, you don't define, is full of what, then you are not able to understand what sati is. Well, here mindfulness is mind in fullness of awareness. The mind is fully aware. That's why it's without thought. So sati is an awareness before the knowing. So sati is awareness before the knowing, or the arising of the thought process, which are the aggregates of mind. The four aggregates of mind, as you all know, which is mainly Sankhara. So Sankhara also has 52 mind states, and it includes feeling and perception. So Sankhara is the activity of mind, concoction of mind, the content of consciousness. Then the other aggregate is the pure receptacle, or they call it the pure consciousness. And you are just conscious or aware before you put in the content of consciousness, before the Sankhara aggregates goes in. So understanding sati is very important. If it's before the knowing, means before the arising of thought, means before the thinking. So how can you be in that state which is before the thinking? It's almost near to impossible if you have not trained yourself. Well, most human beings, they think a lot. That's why we call it the creature of thought, a gregarious being. So living beings, especially human beings, is a creature of thought because they think a lot. And they need relationship. That's why they are just a gregarious being and a creature of thought. And this understanding, when I was in lower six, is very clear and very vivid within me. That's why I wrote an essay on it. And my teacher was quite shocked. She just put in the comment, rather deeply thought out, for a lower six student to write that title or essay. So understanding sati is very important. If you don't develop the understanding of what sati is, how can you develop sati? Means you don't know what mindfulness is, how can you develop it? So that is the reason why the traditional Buddhist, I should say, training or meditative training, as taught in most places, they fail to develop the understanding because they fail to understand what sati is. If you do not understand sati, it will be very difficult for one to develop sati. That's why this unique code is unique, is because from that understanding, all this code come about. From that silent nature within, the awareness nature within, that mindfulness nature within. From there, the understanding develops and surfaces. So to develop the clear understanding, the first thing that we need to develop is sati. Even within the 37 factors of enlightenment, sati appear in many categories and groups, and they are repeated in many places. So that shows the importance of sati. And without sati, you cannot develop heedfulness. And without heedfulness, like the Buddha said, you are as if dead. Dhammapada verse 21. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. Whereas heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedless are as if dead. So this is very clear. That's why the unique code is to explain all this to you so that when you understand, you can develop it. So hopefully with this sharing, it will become more and more clear to you all. Now we go to code 40. When you are truly silent within, means without thought, just aware. When you have stabilized that awareness nature within, you can see clearly how thought actually arises during the condition. How do they arise? You go and find out. I give you a hint in bracket as response to memory. You realize without memory, you cannot arise a thought. Thought is always of the past. Thought is accumulation. That's why it becomes memory. So thought is response to memory. You don't have to believe what I say or what J. Krishnamurti say. You find out for yourself. Like the moment I heard him use that word, thought is response to memory, I checked, I silent, I went in, I saw how it happened. That's why I can share with you, when you are truly silent within, means when your awareness nature is very well developed, very stable, you can see clearly how thought actually arises due to condition. Means because of your memory within the brain. That memory is the one that triggers off the thought. And it is from that memory that your views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, phobia, fear, insecurity, everything you accumulate and store inside there. And from there, you use your memory to act. That's why acting according to memory is not acting at all. And you use your thought rampantly, heedlessly. Because thought is respond to memory. And like what I had explained early on, our brain, especially the human brain, is at the forehead. Why? Well, all the other senses, they are all there. Your eye, your ear, your nose, your tongue, of course the tactile within the body and the brain. The 6 sense bases, they are all around the brain there with the memory. That's why from there you interact. Your thinking become very, very like heedless or rapid. You can function using the thought. That's why you can act from there. You always go to your forehead to create thought thinking, then develop all the reaction, fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, or whatever joy that you may have. So this is how you actually develop the accumulation, the conditioning, then develop all your views, opinion, and conditioning, belief system, everything. So you are actually the bundle of memory that defines your personality, your what they call character. Yeah. Then from there, you animate as a human being and you act. That's why that bundle of memory is actually not you. That is from the mundane mind, the delusion, the thinking, before you have the wisdom and the understanding and the awareness to see and understand all this. You get yourself entangled into heedless thinking, developing the wrong thought that condition your own suffering and misery without knowing how it actually arises and happens. That's why the Buddha called this sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. When you don't have that wisdom, that Dhamma understanding, the awareness to see, observe, and understand how you get yourself entangled into all this, then you cannot free. You still believe the thought. Whatever your thought tell you, you believe. You think the thought is your friend. You think the thought is the only instrument you have in life. Without thought, you don't know how to exist. And you think you are the thought. Then you believe there is a thinker behind the thought. That's why the thinker becomes the egoic mind. So that thinker creates the ego. And the ego is the one that creates the entity, the personality of the I and the me and the mind. That's how one becomes possessive. One develops craving, covetousness, attachment, clinging, grasping. Then when things don't go your way, you become angry, unhappy. It's like the envy, the jealousy, the anger, the hatred, the violence, they come from these evil roots of hatred. The first one is the evil root of greed. Because of the personality, this greed and hatred come about. And they came about because of avijja, ignorance. And the most critical part is the self-delusion, sakkayaditthi. The Buddha called it moha, self-delusion, believing wrongly that you exist. You are a permanent, unchanging entity that you can cling onto, hold onto, grasp onto, and believe that you exist, you are real. That's why from there, the personality, the ego arise. Then you develop the 3 evil roots that make you evil. And that's how you fall and develop all those problems, conflicts, suffering, misery, affliction in life, in existence. That's why living being has war, has a lot of misunderstanding, have a lot of what they call argument, conflict. And this is how the Buddhist meditation, awareness-based meditation, can help you to see all this clearly and to realize all this so that you can come out of this delusion, so that you are no longer deluded, foolish, heedless, so that you can develop the inner awareness to straighten your view, to transform, to root out the avijja, the ignorance, so that you can realize enlightenment in the here and the now and develop the true understanding of who you are, what you are, and how you function as a human being. Then from there, you will understand what the 5 aggregate of form and mind is. Then you will understand life. Then you will know how to live life and free your form and mind from the delusion that condition your suffering and misery within life. So this is essentially what you need to develop as understanding. And this is the essence of the Buddhist teaching, to liberate the mind, to set it free, so that it is no longer deluded, so that avijja can be rooted out, so that the form and mind, which is the living being, or for us, our case is the human being, can go beyond, can realize the unconditioned, the nibbanic experience, or nibbanic, not to say it's an experience, it's actually without anything inside there, it's cessation of form and mind. You don't experience anything. To go through nibbana, to realize nibbana, but there is no being inside there. The mind realizes itself and sees that how it manifests. Then if you are not supposed to parinibbana or die yet, it can come back, the life force. Then you can understand the whole process and the whole creation part. That's why you go back means you cease and return to the source, or the unconditioned, that nature within. Then when you are not supposed to die because of the 5 aggregate of form and mind, with the karmic force that are still existing. That's why that form and mind can come back. Then when it come back, it will develop the understanding. That's how all this bodhisattva path, cultivation to Buddhahood and all those things, or the sainthood way to realize the enlightenment can be done. It's because this realization of Nibbana is possible when you cultivate correctly, develop the appropriate wisdom. The mind that has the wisdom can cease. Then you will go through that cessation, the realization of Nibbana. Sometimes it's a glimpse, good enough for sainthood way. Then later on, if you take the Bodhisattva way, your wisdom is more complete and extensive. Then all this understanding become very, very extraordinary. And it's really amazingly wonderful. So this is what the Supreme Vehicle's teaching is all about. That's why with this understanding, cultivator of the way will develop it because they know this is really beautiful. That's why the Heart Sutta say, when you are capable of realizing true emptiness, you will realize wonderful existence. 真空妙有. True emptiness is wonderful existence. And this is what life, living is all about. That realization can transform the individual and make one different. Okay, we continue with code 40. We haven't finished. When you are truly silent within, you can see clearly how thought actually arises due to condition as response to memory. So just now I explained the whole thing about the memory. You go back, listen to it, it will help you develop the clear understanding so that your Sakaya Ditti, your delusion, you can root it out. But you have to develop this stability or awareness to see it, to see how you create thought, how thought arises due to condition, like the Buddha say. Whatever that arises, there are causes and condition behind. So the condition behind you will come to know is memory. That's why I give you the hint as a response to memory. We are taught is respond to memory. Don't believe it. Silence everything. Then inside that silence, because it will create thought. Before you stabilize it, it will create thought very fast. And you realize the clear line between that nature and the thinking mind is so thin. It's just a very, very minute line. Because from that nature, it springs off the creation very fast. Unless you have stabilized that nature, then you can stay there for quite a while. And most of the time you are without thought. You can do that means you already quite skillful. You have developed the stability or awareness quite well. Otherwise, most people, you just realize it. Then before you can know what it is, the curiosity will create thought already. Hey, what is that? Then the thought arises. That's why to stabilize it take a while. Then when you are able to stabilize it, then only I still remember, you can investigate into it and find out how thought come about. Then I realized from there, the thinking start. That's why I wrote here, when you are truly silent within, you can see clearly, the word clearly, how thought actually arise, then to respond to memory. Then if you are mindful enough, means in your daily mindfulness, very stable, you can also see the formation of thought, the birth of thought, how they arise. Then before the content of consciousness go in, you can also see. Then when the content of consciousness go in, you can also see. That's why I say you can be at the moment of contact, at the moment of consciousness, at the moment of the content going in. Then the moment of feeling, the moment of sankhara activity or thinking. That mindfulness is so stable, it can stay there. It's like I always use the word thought. Actually no sound, nothing. But it can like, you call it what, like your video, you pause it, understand? You pause it, then it stop there. That's why feeling can remain as pure feeling. It cannot move. It's just the awareness, and it stay there. That's why I use the word be with it, aware, finish, let it cease. So all this, you can see clearly the formation and birth of thought, and understand why thought is dependent originating. Because dependent on how you carry your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, and the habitual tendency that you have developed, your pattern of thinking will surface from there, will arise from there. Especially your habitual tendency, born of your views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, and all those things. Even your fear, your phobia, your insecurity. your whatever delusion that condition you to stir and react to sense experience. All this, you can see them, you can understand them. That's why you will straighten your view and change. Then when you are able to see this, you will understand the next sentence. I said the simple inquiry for self-reflection, or for you to inquire or contemplate and reflect. Why this thought arises in me and not any other train of thoughts? That one is very important. Why this thought, not other thought? How come they keep on coming to haunt you? You find out for yourself. It's because that thing you have attachment, you accumulated. Then sometimes you develop the subtle phobia or fear without you know, you accumulate already. Then it become active inside there. Then it keep on haunting you. It's like unfinished business that want to remind you. Then when you see something that can trigger off, immediately it arises. That's why all this can bring about panic attack, phobia, leading to insomnia, depression, insecurity, and a lot of this negativity of mind state. Then sometimes it make you so nervous, so anxious, until suicidal thought arise. And these thoughts, they are very intrusive, compulsive, because of that intensified fear, the worry, the anxiety, the lack of understanding. So when you inquire into this, you will also come to know how you dream. How come that type of dream appear? Actually, dreams are your subconscious release when you try to sleep. And most people cannot sleep is because they got a lot of this type of subconscious and unconscious release that has not been fully released or rooted out. So when you dream, it's actually a good sign, but it's not a good sign of progress. You have a lot of dreams, you have a lot of rubbish inside there. So this dream is one of the way your brain actually find release. It like recuperate. Because our brain that is not in order while we are living life in the conscious state, you live a life of disorder. That's why you accumulated a lot of disorderly thought process through delusion, through attachment, craving, clinging, grasping, views, opinion, phobia, everything. You hold on to so many things, especially attachment, craving, clinging, grasping. So all this can trigger the wrong thought, the negative thought, that can continuously create fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, all those negative mind states. Like just now I said, it can cause you like insomnia, nervousness, anxiety, fear, worry. Then they also have this word like you become so sad. So they call it, what's the word? Sorrow. You develop a lot of sorrow. Then you lament. Then sometimes you also develop what they call, you blame yourself, called remorse. Remorse. All this leading to suicidal thought. That's why depressive people have a lot of suicidal thought and this type of negative mind state. And they are sign of severe depression. And this type of people have mental problem. They suffer a lot. And all these are coming. if you have not created them, you will not land yourself into all this coming. The lack of understanding and wisdom because of what you did in your past. You cause suffering to people, you cause misery, you cause fear, unnecessary sorrow and lamentation, leading to panic attack. All this will come back and haunt you. So when you live life in that manner, or you experience the karmic effect, the negative movement of karma, it will haunt you and cause you so much suffering, affliction, and misery. Then in the midst of life, you are like fully stressed out, miserable, afflicted. Sometimes it condition your gastric, your sickness, your disease, everything. Then you got insomnia, you cannot sleep. You don't know how to rest. You don't know how to actually develop order. So what happened was, you need to recuperate. So what they do is, normally they will try to force themselves to sleep. They go to see the psychiatrist, they give them sleeping pill, like help them to sleep. But it doesn't work most of the time. Initially, maybe allow you to sleep for a while. Then you realize the effect become more and more severe. You need stronger dose, otherwise it cannot work. Then finally, you realize it's not helping. That's why a lot of people who go through this phase of depression and dependent on all this sleeping pill, or what they call sedative type of drugs, it is not a permanent fix. They cannot solve their problem. It's a temporary fix. Maybe allow you to rest for a while, but after that, the problem come back again. There is not a permanent solution that can help you root out with understanding, so that you can recover. Like a lot of Kayamita who had gone through many years of depression. Even Alicia early on also went through 17 years of depression, and she recovered. Then she don't have to take all those drugs, all those medications, no need. So all this understanding, you will be able to develop them. 9:48. Okay, I have to end fast. I go back to the code. Sorry, I explained too much about this thing already. So when you inquire into the last part, why this thought arises in me and not any other thought? So this will allow you to see how in the daily life, when you cling onto things, grab onto things, accumulate all this, develop the fear, the subtle fear or the deep fear without you knowing it. You accumulate without knowing, and they are inside there. Then they keep on haunting you. That's why they have to come out. Otherwise, you will go cuckoo. You develop depression and psychiatric problem. Then you have mental problem. Then you become miserable. So all this you can actually witness in society. That's why now more and more people have depression. Very young, sometimes they already develop it. That's why the course, I was told nowadays the kid, they like to major in this psychiatry course, or psychological, they study psychology. Then some they study to become psychiatrists. It means to treat people with all this psychological problem and mental problem. Then what happens is, when you sleep, the mind actually naturally know how to develop order, where they have to release this. That's why they come out and release it through your subconscious release and unconscious. When you have deep sleep or deeper sleep, the subconscious moment, they will trigger off the release. Sometimes it come out as dream. Then sometimes it come out as a phobia, or you call it nightmare and all those things. So these are subconscious release. So when you are aware of this in your sleep, or normally when you wake up, immediately after you wake up, if you have mindfulness or awareness, and even people who don't have, they will be able to be conscious of their dream. They can still recollect and recall what dream. But after a while, it's gone already. You find it very difficult to recall, unless it's something that is like a nightmare or what. Then it keep on arising there for you to reflect, and contemplate and carry that thought. Otherwise, the normal dream with the subconscious and unconscious release, they will become like forgotten. But the severe one, you will remember. Then I remember when I was developing the stability of mindfulness, that initially I start to see all this. Then I realized that these are my subconscious release. Then I reflected and contemplate. Then I use the Dhamma to root it out. And then after that, it doesn't come and disturb me anymore. Until today. I remember one of the things that always come and disturb me in the early days, a dream of exam, which I have long ago graduated and actually completed. But in the dream, you always have this exam fear or exam phobia that you have not passed. So that fear is because without us knowing, when we were studying, this conscious fear went in, even though I am very good at my study. But it went in because that fear of failure. Because when you fail, you have to sit for, they call refer paper. And you fail your refer paper, you have to repeat that year. And if you repeat that year and fail again, they will kick you out. So your scholarship also, you have to, the contract you have to settle, or your loan you have to settle. Then that fear is so intense. So most students, you go and ask them after they graduate, they have this type of treatment. They haven't passed exam. Then later on, I reflect, contemplate. Then I realize this is the subconscious and unconscious fear that was accumulated, that was not released. So when they were released, I just laugh at it. Then I reflected, contemplated, then I silence my mind to root it out. Because silencing the mind to root it out is very important. You have to develop the wisdom to be aware within. When that thing releases and then you are in that dream, you straight away will know, this one is just a dream. It's not what you think. So you will be aware within that subconscious release or unconscious release. Then sometimes you know it's a dream. You can take control of what happened. Then sometimes it's a meditative test that appear in the dream for you to go through. You will experience a lot of all these things. But when you develop mindfulness and awareness, you can understand all this. That's why this code 40, reflect on it, contemplate on it. There are a lot of things that you can develop. There is a full wealth of wisdom that can come out of understanding all this. How you create thought and how thought actually arise due to response from memory. Then you should try your very best to at least silence, develop the stability of it, to see how the birth of thought come about, its formation and birth. Then how the content of consciousness go in. Then when you see all this, it's like you develop the wisdom and understanding and know that all these are dependent originating. No reality. Hey, no you, hey, no me. When the mark of the second, what they call hallmark of Huining, when you realize that there is no mark of a self, no mark of others, and no mark of life existence, then that stability of wisdom will root all this out. then your mind become very different. Yeah, it become very light, very still, and most of the time it's just like nature, the final wisdom. Yeah, Wu Wei. You no need to act. No condition, nothing happen. No condition, only things arise. Then your activity and your movement, they will surface. The form and mind will do its duty. So all this understanding will be possible. Okay, so we will stop here. Yeah? Okay, I'll mark this page. Yeah? So we will stop at 40. So the next one is 41. True action. It's good if you all can go back and prepare yourself so that when you come for the class, you can absorb better and develop clearer understanding. Okay, now we'll come back to our second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have. We can also discuss today's topic if you want to, or share your Dhamma in daily life.
Good evening, Brother.
Yes, yeah, PG.
This is Steele and all kilometers. Brother, I think today's how to say unique code number
Ah,
40
ah,
is actually very relevant
yes, very
to
relevant,
me.
and
Yeah,
very important,
yeah, because it how to say it really shows what happens to my mundane mind when I don't have a good understanding of the cultivation itself. You know,
correct, yes,
especially the awareness.
mm.
I lived through many years of suffering, like actually,
Yeah,
you know, like
yes. Most
the
people,
last,
before they know the true Dhamma, they suffer unnecessarily, actually.
yeah, not knowing that the mundane mind is actually uh, due to the conditionings and all
Yeah, the belief
the
system
response
and
to
all those things,
memories and all this,
uh,
how it
accumulated
triggers off a
memories,
lot of things.
yeah,
Yes,
views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, phobia, your whatever accumulated rubbish inside there. Uh,
and like my last Tuesday's discussion,
mm.
remember I was talking about fear itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bertio, actually, this was triggered by real experience
Mm.
when I was about 20 years old. It
Yeah.
created so much fear in me, Bertio, that it
Mm.
stays in me for a very long time.
Yeah.
And uh, how to say, it was very traumatic. It
Yeah. That
it
phobia is
really,
very
mm,
traumatic. Huh?
yeah, very very traumatic.
Mm.
That's why I have this fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Because when I was like uh, pushed to such a situation where I can't get out of it. I have
Mm.
to bear with it for a few months,
Mm.
and it really affects me very much. But
Mm.
brother, as I was more stable in my cultivation,
Mm.
brother always says that how to say when 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 our mental mind states arise,
Mm.
stay with it, and
Yeah. Stay
that's
with
what
it.
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I
very
did.
important. You can do that, it will cease.
Yeah, it
The
was
fear,
actually
the phobia, everything will cease.
because every now and then something will trigger and it will arise, and
Yeah.
then I can see the whole the inner fear arising, right you?
Correct. The
And then
movement inside.
the yeah, the thoughts
Yeah.
will continue, like
Yeah.
this and this, like
Yeah,
what I go
because
through.
it's
So
the accumulator phobia, that trigger of the chain of thought, the thinking that you
yes,
have been
yes,
actually habitually hold on to and grasp on to.
yeah, and it's always the same, right you? It
Correct.
always
Repeated.
go back to that place. Actually, it was a dormitory. It was a
Yeah.
dormitory in Madi, and
Mm,
that's when the whole thing appeared. So it will go through the incidents and all that.
mm,
So during one of my meditation,
mm.
and it likes to trigger off when I'm in deep meditation, right?
Wah,
It's
sadhu.
like testing you, when
Yeah.
you are very quiet already, this thing will
Ah,
pop
then it
up
come
in your
out
mind.
and actually let you understand. That's why sometimes I said just now, I shared just now, is meditative test or training that you have to go through to develop the understanding. It will come and surface as a dream or whatever to let you go through. And when you have the wisdom already, the what they call yoniso manasikara already, you will know that it's a dream, it's a test, and the Dhamma will surface and you will pass. You will know how to deal with it. That's why last time I shared with you all, like suddenly my mind, for no reason, shoot up to very high, very, very high. Then suddenly from that very high altitude, it starts to dive down, like threatening that you will die. But then immediately my mind went into that samadhi awareness state and it realizes, hey no you, hey no me, nothing died. So straight away silent with that thing without fear. Then when it hit, straight away there is this what they call energy zoom, like you surface with victory. Then you know your test has been, like you have passed that test. The test that was actually for you to go through, you have already cleared and you know, and there is a lot of joy. Then after that, no more. Then the other one is, I remember, is like a cave, inside the cave where there is a pond of water. But this water was actually corrosive one. It's like from the volcano or what one, but it's also very corrosive one. Then very funny, because you can see whatever go in, like corroded and all those things, melt. But when I was in that state, I knew it's a test. There was no fear, nothing. I just walked inside. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Because it's just the physical, the form and the mind. And you know it's a test. That's why you can go through. And a lot of all these things, instead of going through the real situation, it come in this form is better. So that the test is not the one that is involving the real one. But the real one can be a lot more traumatic, or not to say traumatic. Normally you will have the wisdom, but it will affect somebody and something. And sometimes it could be your loved one or whatever going through that thing. But it's meant to be on. Like that time, the test that came, the real one is my mother heart attack and my son compound fracture. That was a real test. But the moment I understand it, the whole thing reversed. Then just let me see and let me understand, and the whole thing reversed. Then the whole thing is gone, no more. At that time, nothing can test me unless it's my own son or daughter and my mother, my own parent. So that's why it happened, it surfaced, and it's meant to be for me to see. And all these are possible because of the cultivation, the understanding behind. Then like what you go through, now you recall, you recollect, you will also come to know. That's why when that thing arises, what did you do after that, PG?
Because upon reflection, I tell myself, if this case happen again, when this arise, just stay with it and see what happens.
Yeah, that is the solution, yes.
So when it arises, I stay with it and I can see how the thoughts go the same way lah. More and more frightening thoughts will come up. So I just stay with it. I can feel the fear, but I just let it go on.
Yeah, when you stay with it, the fear will subside.
Then after a while,
Because there is no
subside,
more energy to
yes.
feed the delusion. Then the fear will subside. Then you can see from the intense state it start to subside until it become cool, still, until the thing nothing inside there. Yeah. When you have anger, also you can try it. When you have fear, also you can try it. When you have phobia, also you can try. All this, you should actually go through it. When they arise at that moment, stay with it. Stay with it. Then weaknesses cease. Then only you understand that they are all dependent originating. They are not intrinsic within our nature. I mean, fear is never me. Fear is never intrinsic within me. They are dependent originating, external. They come after because of delusion, because of wrong view, sakayaditi. You grasp, you cling, you hold, you give meaning, you project your thought, you develop the unnecessary fear. Then they surface. Yeah. So wrong view, creating wrong thought, that trigger the fear, sakayaditi. So that fear is dependent originating, condition arising, cause of no reality. He know you, he know me. And they are impermanent. That's why they come and they go. And when you have the understanding and you see it, then you realize fear was never you, and you root it out straight away. A lot of people cannot understand. They thought they still have fear, they still have worry, anxiety, sorrow. No, they are all dependent originating state due to your own delusion, wrong view, sakaditi. So see all this, understand all this, then the nature like wake up. Uh, and through the understanding, it becomes different. Then after that, no more. It loses its power. It cannot delude you anymore. Cannot cause you anymore uh, fear, worry, anxiety, or entangle you. So all this understanding, when they surface, you really root it out. Mm. And it's so beautiful. Then after that, there's a lot of joy inside. Then you really have great uh, respect and gratitude towards the Buddha for giving us this type of rather wonderful teachings, the Buddha Dharma. They are so beautiful, so amazingly beautiful. Yeah, you can continue, PJ.
Yeah, Brother Teo, yeah, actually, when that happens, and I see the thing cease, I was so relieved, that there's a
Sadhu.
way to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And subsequently, these
Mm,
thoughts, this fear still arise. But
mm,
when it arises, I just pay attention to it, and it ceases very fast.
Sadhu.
Yeah.
But it
Every now and
loses
then
its
yeah,
intensity. Then
yeah,
slowly,
yes,
after a
cease.
few times, you will root it out completely. Because sometimes the random of fear or phobia, they are still there. So off and on, they will still trigger off, until you finally able to understand. Then it loses its power. Then you will root it out completely. It depends on your contemplative wisdom stability. When your contemplative wisdom and stability is there, when you awaken, it really gone on. After that, no more. Doesn't come anymore.
Yeah, that being the case, actually, brother, I already very thankful of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sadhu.
I've been able to get over this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how to say,
Yeah, it has been haunting
restraint.
you since you are 20 over years old.
Yes, brother,
Long
it
time
was
ago.
almost for 30 years,
Yeah,
brother.
30 over years. Yeah,
30
Sadhu.
over years is
Yeah,
very serious.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That is very good. Sadhu.
Imagine that the conditioning is so bad, brother. I can never sleep without a blanket covering my feet, and
Oh,
how to
no
say,
wonder.
not only cover my feet, no, my blanket must uh, how to say,
Uh,
really go underneath the feet, even, it's
oh, okay.
that's scary, brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why you understand all this. Then you can actually, from the understanding later on, use that to advise people and help people.
Yeah, thankfully, like brother always says, when we
Mm.
can understand the mundane mind, we
Yeah,
see how the mundane mind works.
yes,
That itself is already a very big step for me, and
yes,
I'm sure for a lot of people.
correct.
And
Because after that, you will know how to straighten your view and not be deluded by it anymore,
yes,
deceived by the sankara activity anymore. Straightening of view is very important one. But you have to apply the Dhamma. when the
Because for
Dhamma
me,
is properly applied, it will cease.
because for me, straightening of the views is one of the ways for us. Firstly, is to reduce our karma.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever we have done in the past, not much that we could do.
Correct. You have to do the three things. Repentant, asking for forgiveness, repentant, then vow not to repeat all this, then cultivate, following the advice of the Buddha. Then after that, diligently invoke power of merits for causes and conditions for you to overcome whatever karmic obstacle or obstruction so that it can pave the way for you to walk the path of Dhamma again without encountering any more of this karmic obstruction or negativity. So all these are very important understanding.
Yeah, not to create more negative karma,
Yeah,
because
great. That's
this
why
life,
asking for
I
forgiveness.
kena enough already lah, Rachel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nah,
That
if
is
I
a
don't learn
very
it, if I
that
don't
is a
learn,
very
I
good
must
understanding.
be
Yeah,
very
yeah,
dumb.
yeah, yeah. Most people who have gone through after they have the Dhamma, after they clear, they will know. Oh, like Alicia went through for 17 years last time, has been haunting her the wrong thought. So straight away the wrong thought arises. I straight away talk to the thought, and now you have deluded me for 17 years. Finish. It subsides straight away. So she will not be able to be like conditioned into the old habitual way of holding on to that thought and develop the negativity. Cannot really, because that wisdom break free. Yeah. And the wisdom can laugh at that thought. Enough. You have caused me enough trouble. So you will never have that power to deceive and delude me anymore. That's why it will cease immediately. Then it loses its power. When it loses its power, it's really like very magical like that one. Last time, the way it arises, it will sure make you think on well, the memory will recall the bitterness and also, then you will think along that line. But the moment you awaken already, it cannot really loses its power already. It know all these are not what it is, not real, no reality. It know me. Then Sankara Anichang, Sankara Dukang. He will not go and waste his time on it and hold on to all those things. He will just laugh, smile, then silent. Then observe. Thing is just the way it. Sometimes it doesn't interfere at all. It just let things be. Meant to be will be. If there is no condition, nothing arises. Everything is just the way it is. Then you will have the wisdom to see things as they are and to accord and flow and move with the way nature manifests. So all this understanding, they will surface. They will fall into line and fall into place so that the cultivator of the way will know what to do. So all understanding will manifest. That's why the Dhamma is very unique, very beautiful, very amazing and wonderful. So this part is very interesting. Good, PG, Sadhu. Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, but I still remember even last Tuesday and this Tuesday, past Tuesday,
Yes,
we were
yes.
talking about the princess in the movie, remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, correct,
And we
correct.
were talking about non-interference
Yeah,
spiritual.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wu Wei.
Initially, when the last Tuesday when you're talking about it,
Mm.
uh, then the Empress was saying that you should understand that when there are uh, how to say no conditions, you do not act on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
correct.
of course my mundane mind will go, how do you expect her not to act on it? Whole family is killed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Then after that, when you go further towards the end and you talk about the Wu Wei, then
yeah.
the understanding just sink into me and it says, yeah, that's true. It is so true, Bratio.
Yeah,
When you say it,
very
I
true
was
one. Yeah.
my heart cries, really, really.
Yeah, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah.
Because
Because the mundane mind try to come out with solution and all those things, and all this is through what? Through vengeance, understand or not? Through like doing the correct thing. But all this is from that mundane mind, understand or not? And whatever you do, there are causes and conditions behind. So the karmic repercussion, they will keep on arising. Then whatever you do, there will be a lot of moments where you have to go through the sacrifice of a lot of your loved ones and all those things. So she came to realize a lot of things that she finally thought she did it right, but at the expense of a lot of things. That's why she couldn't understand. Finally, she almost gave up. She doesn't want to take revenge. She doesn't want to do anything. But then she thought she caused all this, and there was one very close friend of her that helped her a lot, and in many circumstances where she really appreciate, and they thought they can get together, become life partner and all things. But then towards the end, because of her stubbornness, and she thinks she is very smart, she know how to do all this, she go and come out with that plot that the boy doesn't want to know. The boy just say, forget about all this. Then she proceed with it. Then somehow he get this boy into trouble. Then the boy's mother also got killed because of that. That's why after that, she thought the relationship is gone. That's why she went off. Then luckily she didn't die. She was actually chased after by the assassin, but she was saved by one very skillful swordsman. That's how the story later on. She went to that nunnery where she reflected on the word Wu Wei. Then from there she starts to understand its deep meaning. You see, last time I can't understand. Like your thinking might tell you, how can you don't act? They kill my whole family, or you ask me not to do anything, forgive them. You think I'm a saint? So all this is a very good way for the director of the show to actually share all this understanding, which is, to me, is very beautiful. The Dhamma at that phase is very beautiful. So when it manifests, that's why it so happened, it's so beautiful. That night was the sharing. Then I got conditioned, that's why I share the story. And the word Wu Wei, that is the best Tao spiritual words for the accord and flow, following the Dhamma way. Wu Wei means no need to act. It is like they use the word in the show as inaction, Wu Wei. But later on, I coined the other word that can be detected, non-interference. That one is a better word. So non-interference means you accord and flow. You don't interfere. You don't want things your way, because even with wisdom or what, you must have condition to act. Otherwise, you want to act, even you have the Dhamma and the wisdom, you realize you interfere, you entangle more, you get into more trouble. Cannot. No condition means no condition. Forget about it. My nature already knew from the past. That's why I won't do this type of thing. So a lot of things.
Sorry, but
Yeah.
if you do not have the understanding, it is very difficult to follow this.
Definitely. This one needs spiritual understanding. Yeah. This one needs the totality of understanding of the spiritual law that governs life and existence. Otherwise, you cannot do it. That's why that lady say, unless you are sane, you can never do this. But later on, after she gone through all those experiences, then she realized towards the end, really, no point. Where basically her heart is good. Then she realized all this that the mind hold on to and want to do. Where she is very smart, very wise. I'm not really wise in that sense, the intellectual sense. He studied a lot, very skillful in a lot of things. Then she have clear mind. Then she can actually plan and plot things very well. He got foresight and all those things. But despite all those so-called skill, intellectual understanding, she managed to resolve quite a lot of things, but at the expense of a lot of important loved ones, uh, or unnecessary sacrifice and all those things. So this is what life existence is all about. When you don't have the understanding, all this can become like as real as it is. Then you think you have that ability to plot, plan, and scheme all these things and take revenge. But ultimately, the outcome of it is the final picture, like that nun, the empress, spoke to her. He said, the core deciding factor is the Tao. You cannot beat the Tao. Your ultimate Tao decide, like nature decide, is not you. Whatever you input, the cause and condition will manifest and unfold. It will involve a lot of other things. That's why the sacrifice, is it worth it? These are all reasoning. These are all what they call through the thought process. When you start to analyze, reason, plan, develop all this, you will end up following the outcome of that nature's law. That's why you cannot develop the perfect movement. Whereas if you echo and flow, then that nature's movement is already in that direction. You only echo and flow, then it will manifest, then it will end up like amicably. Yeah. It will end up very well. Yeah. Like you don't interfere at all. Yeah. So all this understanding is very beautiful. Yeah, PJ. Yeah.
Yeah, Baratil,
uh,
when we have that type of understanding, actually, the Dharma is so beautiful.
yeah. It's very,
It,
very beautiful. Very wonderful.
it really shows to us that we need not, how to say, strive so hard, get
No
things
need one.
done. Yeah.
No need one.
It's like pushing every day, pushing this,
No need
pushing
one.
that. Yeah. But
Yeah.
also because I'm no more working, I think maybe there's a different situation about you.
Yeah.
I also understand how it is when you work, you have to deliver things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have the luxury of saying that.
Yeah. My
But
daughter also went through that phase. That's why now she appreciate life more. She very happy. She said no need to wake up so early, no need to attend meeting, go through all this, the career path thing.
not only
So
that, Bertil, sometimes in the name of work, we do things that we know are not so ethical or not so
correct.
right. But
A lot of
we
people are forced into
still have
those
to do it. Yes.
situations.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like, to us, it's like whether it's the bigger evil or the smaller evil.
Lesser of the two. Yeah.
But I know what I do at
Mm.
times is uh, not not evil in the sense, but morally not correct.
Yeah.
Morally not correct or
Yeah.
ethically not correct. But we do it
That's
as
true. Uh,
we have to do it.
yeah,
So
because at
actually,
your
I'm very
level, you
thankful.
don't have much choice. At your level, you will be subject to more of all this.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's why I'm thankful that luckily now that I'm walking this path, I I don't have to do it anymore.
yeah,
I
because
only now
retired life
understand
is
myself that
different.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a different
I
phase.
different phase.
It's
So
like Pativeda, when you have the Dhamma, you retire. Pativeda is you reap the fruition of your hard work. And that is the most beautiful part of our life. That phase is the most meaningful, wonderful, and beautiful. It's an amazing uh, stage where we will live life to the fullest and really, I don't want to use that word so often, enjoy life. You can enjoy life, but with understanding. Not to say materialistically, like carried away. No. If you have the means, why not? If you can afford, why not? I understand. I used to use the word pamper yourself a bit. Uh, like Puja and the husband went to Vietnam, have a good tour. Why not? They can afford, and you can get to see all the scenic places, the beautiful temple, monastery. So all these are beautiful, meaningful.
But for me, it's more of like when things happen, whether
Yeah.
in our life, in
Mm.
Malaysia, or in around the world,
Mm.
I don't get so worked up, knowing that
Correct. Yes.
things happen because they are meant to be,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And of course, when it doesn't involve our immediate family, we are not so how to say uh, so
Affected.
affected lah. Yeah, but
Affected.
generally, uh, more acceptance of
Yeah,
how things work,
correct.
and I wouldn't say there's
Less reactive. Less
less
reactive.
reactive. Yes,
Uh,
because we can see a lot of things is it's supposed to go this way, it goes this way.
yeah.
You know.
That's why I say just let things be. We are the whole totality of movement you all cannot understand yet. Like last time before GE15, even immediately after GE15, everybody like lose hope already, say gone already this country or those thing. But then it turned out to be the way it's supposed to be, so beautiful. So a lot of things you will later on have the understanding if meant to be will be, it will unfold in that manner, very beautiful. Where the totality of consciousness, the movement is in that direction. That's why for me, I can sense it, I can feel it. I've been telling a few people that this election G15 is going to be very interesting, very beautiful. And a lot of things can happen. I say it will go for the better. I even told Jin how Sam, my wife, they all, and even Clifford, Joyce, they all, many of my friends who talk to me and discuss, some of them ask me, and I just say I can sense it. It's going to be something beautiful. Then it turned out to be really true.
Yeah, but like but you know, what we are seeing now in this country, the ups and downs, you
Yeah,
know, then
yeah,
I to me is just accept it lah. You
correct,
nothing much I
correct.
can do at the moment. You know,
But the
no need to get
totality of
in.
movement is beyond the individual's control. We only play our role.
Yes, no
Like
need to get any
Krishnamurti
more
said, yeah, the individual must
opportunity.
change. So we change and we do our part. That's it. After that, let the totality of movement manifest and show us what will happen, what will
Yeah,
unfold. Yeah,
that is so true, but you.
yeah, because no reality ultimately is just from a mind, civilization, evolution, not what you think.
But for a lot of people, this what do you mean?
Yeah
What
lah.
is life? You
That's why
mean
I
you don't
say,
do anything?
yeah, without the spiritual understanding, a lot of people cannot understand and they cannot take that as a solution. To them is you must do something. I remember last time there was one Kayamita, oh, very vocal about all this thing, election thing. But finally she also changed for the better with the understanding. So a lot of things when you understand you become different. Yeah. Okay, PG, anything else?
Nothing else, Pratyo. I think I
No.
will end my sharing today.
Can.
It's already
Okay, sadhu.
10:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night. Yeah. Okay, let us rejoice. Sadhu. Okay, we will share merits with all the beings, starting with the Devas. Akasata Chebomata Deva Naga Mahindika Punyang Tang Anumoditwa Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana Ita Wata Chamehi Sampadan Punya Sampadan Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sampasampati Siddhiha Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyateyo Devo asadukalena sat sampati hetu cha Vito bhavatu loko cha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imina punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Sattang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, you can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end the whole Zoom session. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.